York, the atmosphere, and a crowd that never tame. Mets PostGame Show brings the flame.
What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to the Mets PostGame Show right here on the channel and on X. And for the first time since June 7th, Klay Holmes has finished the 6th inning. And on top of that, he touched the rubber in the 7th inning, getting one more out, 6 in a third, 3 hits, 2 runs, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks from Klay Holmes. And it's about time. It is about time we actually got back-to-back starters going 6 innings, at least 6 innings for the first time this year. That is insane nonetheless. But to see Klay Holmes do that is a good sign. We all know the innings limit. The innings are way past what he's ever done in his career. And to see him do that is a nice sign. Again, not overly excited because I love to see him doing his next start. But it's a good sign. It is an absolute good sign for Klay Holmes, the New York Mets, and us as Met fans watching that. I was shocked he came out for the 7th inning. I was so ecstatic that he went 6 innings. I'm like, please don't let him go in the 7th inning and have like him blow it up. But he got the one out. He gave up that hard hit ball, and it's all right. What a hell of a job by Klay Holmes. 21 runs in the 2 games so far as the Mets win the series against the Atlanta Braves and go for the sweep tomorrow with their best pitcher on the mound in David Peterson. You lined it up perfectly in this series. You took the first 2 games, and now you got your best pitcher on the mound to go for the sweep. And not only do the Mets stay pace with the Phillies, still 6 games out, but we gain the Reds are getting their ass kicked in Arizona. So by the end of that game, we're going to be 2.5 games up on the Reds. We're going to either gain a game or the Dodgers or the Padres, whoever loses against each other. We're going to gain a full game on them. The Cubs are playing right now, so at the moment we're 5 games. If the Cubs lose, we're 4.5 from the first wild card with 33 games to play. And as I talked about in the pregame, Mets fans, the stars feel like they're aligning for the New York Mets, not because of the confidence level of this team and the way they played, but just the way everything's working out, right? The Phillies got a big blow with Zach Wheeler. The Phillies have not played great. The Mets are staying pace in the next, over the last 10 games, 6-4 for the Phillies and the Mets. The Reds are not playing well, and the Mets, again, 2 days ago, we were half a game ahead, and now we're 2.5. Again, it can happen in the snap of a finger, and it happens just like that. And right now, the Mets offense is basically running on all cylinders. 2 home runs for McNeil, 2 home runs for Vientos, Pete Alonso with a home run. And what about Starling Marte? McNeil gets it started with a 3-run homer. The Braves start to fight back, and Starling Marte in left field, 36-year-old Marte, where I would say about 99% of Met fans wanted Starling Marte off this team. I'm probably some of the 1% that wanted them on this team still, because that veteran presence, Marte still means a lot to this clubhouse, guys. Not only does he matter to this clubhouse, he still is productive at 36 years old. If Brandon Nimmo was playing left field, that run scores easily. We all know Nimmo was not going to throw him out. It was a bang-bang play, and it took Marte's arm to get him out. That was the first thing I tweeted when Marte gunned out the runner at home. What a great throw by Marte. Nimmo wouldn't have made that throw. And, little things within the season. And this is where Mendoza doesn't get credit, right? Mendoza put Marte in left field, started Marte in left field. He could have put Tyrone Taylor and Mullins, played them, and not play Marte. He would have probably put Tyrone Taylor in left field, but let's be honest, he put Marte in left field. Not only did he hit a home run, which was a big home run, he also played really good defense, and he gunned the runner at home. So for all the criticism that Mendoza gets, he deserves some credit as well. putting Marte in the lineup in left field. And McNeil coming back into the lineup after that shoulder issue hits a 3-run bomb to get the Mets on the board and give them a 3-0 lead. What an outstanding performance by this Mets team. 21 runs in the last 2 games, 22 hits in the first 2 games. The New York Mets have shown you why I don't concern myself with the offense, because they can do this. As I said, there's another level to this lineup that we have not seen yet. And I always expected it to come at some point. Now, yes, it helps that Vientos is looking like he has a pulse and looking like he can hit finally, which is a good sign. Jeff McNeil is having a really good bounce back season. Lindor is still red hot. Pete Alonso hit a home run today. It was nice to see him put a barrel to the ball. Nice to see that. Brett Beatty has been outstanding. A lot of good signs from a lot of these guys that have struggled a lot of the season and are hoping to finally come out of it. Like Vientos has been in this prolonged slump all season, lost his third base job. Bailey played last week. He sat for 4 days, and now he's getting the opportunity. He hit that back-to-back home runs on Sunday and Monday, and then kind of looked a little bit better at the plate. We saw that power, and that's what we need from Mark Vientos. I said it before, and I'll say it again. He's our DH until further notice. Now, you got to find a way to play Marte. I'm sorry, you have to find a way to play Marte. If you got to sit Nimmo every goddamn day, you do it. If you got to bring in Nimmo for defensive purposes late in the game because you don't want Marte in the outfield for 7 innings, I don't care. Brandon Nimmo hasn't hit enough to play him every day. Sit him. If you got to pinch hit him every now and then, do that. I don't want Marte sitting. And again, it's unfortunate, and it's a good thing to have, but with Vientos hitting, he's going to be a DH. Now, of course, you can play Beatty at second base, but again, you got to play McNeil because he's hitting. So we got a lot of guys hitting right now that all of them can't get into the lineup. Somebody's going to have to sit that's hitting. Like, you can't play Marte every day in left field. I think that's a dangerous game to play. You can't get him hurt right now. But you got to get that bat in the lineup. Same thing goes for Vientos. Same thing goes for Jeff McNeil. And Brett Beatty has been hitting. So Vientos and Beatty is hitting. That means Mauricio's hitting. So what do you do? And everybody say, well, that's a great problem to have. It's not. It's not, because you don't want a guy who's hot right now sit on the bench and not see pitching and maybe gets cold during that time sitting. You don't want that to happen. So it is going to be very interesting. It is going to be interesting. And MDOT 100%. What a difference good pitching and solid pitching get from your starter get you. Like it makes the process of the process through a game much easier for Mendoza, right? It's easier to navigate. It's easier to plan out your spots for your certain bullpen arms. Diaz they got Diaz to pitch in the 9th because he hasn't pitched in a week. You got to get him going because we all know you can't throw him in the 9th inning and he hasn't pitched in a week, because what's going to happen? We know this, right? He's going to be wild, and that's what you don't need. So the good news is that the Mets are playing pretty good right now. They won a series, right? 2 out of the 3 series they have won. They won 2 out of 3 against Seattle. They won 2 out of 3 against the Braves. Now you go into tomorrow hoping for a sweep. That's what you're going to be hoping for. You're going to be gunning for that. But it doesn't matter what happens. This is why I talked about the stars are aligned here. The Mets control their own destiny. It doesn't matter what the Reds do. It doesn't matter what nobody does. If the Mets win, they remain in a playoff spot. It's just that simple. And everybody who says, they're not making the playoffs, it's over, blah, blah, blah. It's a silly conversation to have. Because even as bad as they played, it's pretty hard to continue that bad play the rest of the season. Like, seriously, this is basically a terrible 2 months. They never relinquished a playoff spot during this worst stretch of the season, being one of the worst teams record-wise in the last 2 months. You don't relinquish a playoff spot within that bad stretch. You still remain within striking distance of a division where you've played terrible for 2 months. As I said, the Phillies aren't as good as people are throwing out there because they should be up by 10, 11, 12 games the way the Mets have played. They've been making the Mets hover around, and that's a dangerous game to play. And they're just showing the Cubs right now as Kyle Tucker just hit a home run to take a 1-0 lead against the Angels right now. But I don't think the Phillies are as good as everybody portrays them to be. And they haven't played well. They played better than the Mets, but that's not saying much. They played slightly better than the Mets, and the Mets have played so bad. So this is a good sign. This is a good sign for the Mets because, again, now you're 2.5 games up. Now you're really, really, really have your playoff spot and you control your own destiny. That's it. This is the moment right here, right? You can still fight for your division. You're facing the team Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday that you're trailing in the division. By tomorrow, it could be 5 games. If the Phillies lose, the Mets win. We're 5 games going into a series at home against the Phillies where we can really put a dent into that lead and still maintain a comfortable lead in the wild card. It's a good sign for the New York Mets because their lineup is hitting. Even when it's a close game, they're starting to get that clutch hit now. And I want to give you the stat at the end of the game that SNY posted. Here we go. In the last 12 games for the New York Mets offense, they hit 29 home runs and a 982 OPS. Now, I don't like those stats. I don't like the OPS stat. Right? Give me what their average was for running scoring position. Give me other good stats, right? 29 home runs is a lot in 12 games. That's nice to see because that means Vientos is hitting home runs. I mean, McNeil is showing that power. You're seeing home runs from everybody. And that's a great sign. OPS near 1,000, wonderful. And this is what I was talking about. For 2 weeks now, the offense has been scoring well over 5 runs per game. And even though they've only started winning over the last week a little bit more, the offense has been carrying this team. The pitching has failed. Now, McLean and Holmes back-to-back. Imagine, Mets fans, we get back-to-back 6+ innings from multiple starters, 3 in a row. I mean, I might have to check my pulse. Seriously, like I wouldn't know what to do with myself. I would not know what to do with myself. As the Mets are facing Elder, who pitched well against the Mets last time he faced them, but has not pitched well. This is the game tomorrow where you smell blood in the water. Like, this is a situation where you come out in the first inning, you score 5 runs. Make no mistake about it. This was a series where we know the Braves are playing well over the last, I would say, like 15 games or so. They've been playing better, probably their best stretch of the year. And you know they were out for revenge. Even though they're not making the playoffs, they can spoil our hopes of a playoff spot. They could do some damage to us. And they did. And the Mets said, yeah, watch this. 21 runs, and 22 hits over 2 games. This is a great sign for the New York Mets. And they got to continue it, right? The consistency matters here, right? I'm not saying go win 15 in a row. That would be great. I mean, that would solve a lot of problems. And if we do that, I guarantee we'd be in first place in the division, to be honest with you. But give me 7 out of 9, 7 out of 10. Go 7-3 in your next 10. Like, it doesn't sound great, but again, the Phillies consistently go 5-5 in their 10, 6-4, 4-6. They haven't been outstanding. If you, over the next 33 games, you played the Phillies 7 times. That is more than enough time to be within striking distance when you face this team. So the pitching performances for the last 2 nights is nice to see. And this is what we need. We need this now. right? Mendoza needs to push these guys. Like Minaya and Senga didn't give him a chance to push them because they don't battle on the mound when things are getting bad in the fourth or fifth inning. They don't battle. When they're done, when they're going through their hardship on the mound during an inning, they don't battle. They fall apart. Even Klay Holmes, we saw it in the fourth inning. We're like, uh-oh, here he goes again. Fourth inning, he's going to give up 2 runs, walked a couple of batters. All right, he's going to be done by the fifth inning. But what did he do? He got out of the inning 3-2, still up, comes in the fifth inning, pitches well. All right, let's get him to the sixth inning. Gets that done. And was like, oh, okay. He battled through the adversity that he had in the fourth inning. And not only that, even though he kept his pitch count efficiently low, and it got him into the seventh inning and was able to get it out in that seventh inning. So they need to continue this. Mendoza needs to push these guys, right? Senga and Minaya can't implode, right? Mendoza can't do nothing but sit back there and hope they don't implode. That is a tough situation for Mendoza to be in because you don't want to use your bullpen in the fourth inning. You just don't. Like, battle through adversity, right? Minaya was able to do that last year. Even when he got himself into trouble, he was able to find a way and battle through it. Senga, I don't trust him battling through nothing. I think he is just a piece of meat on the mound, to be quite honest with you. I just can't stand him. Like, everybody knows this, right? I am probably the one Met fan that does not like Senga at all. I think he's well overhyped. Met fans fall in love with the stupid gimmick pitches and all that nonsense, and they act like he's better than he is, and he's not. People got to realize he's not a good pitcher. And by the way, I just want to let everybody know, the next time through this rotation, and it starts tomorrow with David Peterson on the mound, every one of the pitchers are going on normal rest. 4 days rest and pitching on the 5th day. That includes Kodai Senga. So for the next 5 outings, and that includes when you turn it back over to who pitched today in Klay Holmes, they're all going to pitch on normal days rest. So I want everybody to watch this closely because the last time David Peterson went deep into a game and pitched on regular rest, he got rocked the next time out. Now, I'm not saying that history is going to repeat itself, but you got to keep a close eye on it. You have to. So David Peterson, after his 8-inning performance against the Nationals, is pitching on regular rest. He hasn't done that in a while. Same thing goes for Minaya and Senga, who are pitching, or Senga and Minaya, who's pitching back-to-back Monday and Tuesday against the Phillies. And then Nolan McLean on Wednesday, the finale of this Philly series. All these guys are pitching on regular rest all the way through up until you get back to Holmes. And with this 16-game stretch of no off days, they're going to have to do it. Now, we're going to see, right? Big boy pants are on, right? 33 games to go. You know what this tells me finally? Because they could have easily brought up Sproat or Tong and push everybody back and give everybody an extra day. They didn't do that. Now, I'm mad about that because I think we would have rather see Jonah Tong throw 6 innings against the Braves than some Joe Schmo in AAA. But the good news is that the Mets are showing urgency with this pitching staff. They need to pitch on normal rest. Yes, you want to give them an extra day every now and then with an off day. You can do that. No problem. No problem. I have no problem doing that with off days. When you get off days, you can manipulate extra days off. I'm perfectly fine with that. But when you need the sense of urgency with no days off, I want to see these guys go on normal days rest because you can't always manipulate extra days off. And when you get to the playoffs, there is no room to manipulate extra days off. The schedule is what it is. You play 7 games, you possibly can play 7 games in 9 days. That's basically what you play. Or in 10 days. So they're in a lot of room to manipulate off days here and schedule days off and plan an extra day off for a certain pitcher. And this is why I talked about where the Mets needed to show that they can do this, or they can try to push these guys a little bit, and they have. And this is a good sign. They have to do it. And again, starting tomorrow, and every pitcher over the next 4 days after Peterson, from Peterson to Senga to Manaea to McLean and back to Holmes. All of them are going to be on regular days rest. 4 days rest, 5th day pitching. First time this year, all starters in this rotation are going to pitch on normal days rest. This is the time for the pitching staff, the rotation, to step up. There is no more, we have to give him this time, the innings. No. There's enough starts in Manaea's back pocket now. There's enough starts for Senga where there's no more excuses about innings and pitch count. They need to go out there and throw 90-plus pitches. Get you through at least 5 innings. Look like you can get through 5 innings. Strong. Not holding on for dear life. Strong. This is your top 2 pitchers that they all said are your top 2 pitchers in this rotation. They got to start acting like it. Because if they don't, I don't care if you bring Jonathan up here or McLean. It's going to be very hard to navigate the rest of the season and into the playoffs. It will. Because what do you do with them? What are you going to do? Joe Tong, McLean, and Peterson in every game? No, you can't do that. You're going to have to navigate them and pitch them. So with everything going on right now, there's a lot of good signs from this Mets team. The lineup, the rotation is starting to look like they're coming into form with David Peterson's out against the Nationals. After Manaea and Senga shit the bed, you got a really good start from McLean and a really good start tonight from Klay Holmes, which I think a lot of people are shocked about, to be honest. Like, I think, I said in the pregame, I would have took 5 innings of 2-run ball. He gave us 2 runs of 6 1/3. Hey, good for you. But again, the real challenge is going to be over this next 5 days, starting tomorrow with David Peterson. Can these guys come back out after long outings like David Peterson and make a next scheduled start on regular rest and pitch well? That's the key, because, again, David Peterson did this a couple of weeks ago. He was outstanding. Pitched 7 innings, looked great, came out the next time out on his regularly scheduled pitch start on normal rest. 4 days off, 5th day pitching, and he didn't look good at all. He walked 5 guys, gave up multiple runs. He just did not look good at all. And that was at Citi Field. So let's just see what these guys can do, because I think this is the biggest test right now. Because if they can't do it and they don't pitch well, or they pitch too many, like they're looking good, but their pitch count is high, and they only give you 4 innings, maybe 5, but it's not good enough. We're going to have conversations like, okay, we're going to talk about winning or losing. Did they win? Did they lose? Because that's all that matters at this point. But the confidence level needs to get higher. The bar needs to be raised for this New York Mets pitching, especially for this rotation. If this rotation doesn't get to a higher bar, I'm not saying be excellent, but they need to get to another level here. This is the major leagues. We shouldn't be babying these guys like we have all season. It's a joke at this point. This is the dog days of summer. This is where you need to push guys. If they can't do it, they don't deserve to be starters. I'm sorry. That goes for everybody in this rotation. Right? Your $20 million man in Sean Manaea, your bullpen guy turned starter in Klay Holmes, I need 10 days off before I pitch Senga. All these guys need to step up and get to a higher bar. It's just that simple. If they can't do it, I have no confidence that they will the rest of the year, including the playoffs. I don't trust it. Right now, good signs. But they got to repeat that on normal days rest. I'm not saying Klay Holmes needs to go into the 7th inning again, but can you give me 6 innings and be happy with that? I will. Mania, can you get to the 6th inning? I want to see toughness. I want to see you battle into a 5th inning, finish the 5th inning, maybe even step on the mound in the 6th. Even if you don't finish it, show, battle, get through it. Get through the adversity. Him and Senga. This is going to be the biggest series. Now, every game's big now because of what the Mets put themselves in a position to deal with. But it's a big series. This is an opportunity for the Phillies to basically bury us in this division. And now we only have to worry about the wild card. This is an opportunity for the Mets to say this is not over yet. And Sho Manaea and Kodai Senga are going to be the two guys to decide that in that series. If Manaea and Senga don't pitch well and they end up to their old habits again that they had so far this year, we're only going to be talking about a division, and we're going to be talking about who we might play in the wild card round. And if we're the third wild card team, guess who we're going to play? It's going to be the third worst division winner. And right now, I believe right now it could be, let's see, it could be the Dodgers, it could be the Padres, or it could be the Phillies at this point. So it could be any of those guys. So it's up to these guys to step up. It's about time it's been well over 3 months now, almost 3 months, where the rotation has been embarrassing. The lineup finally looked like it's almost hitting also running on all cylinders here. Let's see if they can continue that. Will they continue that? I don't know. But I do feel like these guys are finally playing to the back of their baseball cards again. And that's what you have to hope that they can do. And they are doing that. You know, Soto's on pace for 40 home runs. Again, I don't like the 40 home runs. I'd rather have a 280 average with 32 home runs instead of 40-something home runs. But that's what he has. He's on pace for 30 home runs, 30 steals, which he's never done in his career. So with 100 walks. Again, it's not the hype that everybody wants because everybody just thinks of the player and that's what he should do. But he's helped us in many other ways than the typical Juan Soto year. Good night. Good time for him. He's got to keep on doing better. He's been doing better with runners in scoring position. That's what we need him to do. And again, I'm not worried about Juan Soto in clutch situations in the biggest moments. The guy always comes through. Always. Same thing with Pete Alonso. Even when he had a bad season last year, he had really decent numbers in the postseason. And when he needed to come up big, he did. Same thing for Francisco Lindor. These guys perform at the biggest moments, even if they have in bad seasons. They have a back of the baseball card where they say, I come up clutch when it matters the most. And that's what they got to continue to do. They're playing well. And they're scoring well over 5 runs per game. I think they probably got over 6 runs per game over the last 2 weeks since the last couple of games. So they've been scoring runs. The pitching still is a little bit worrisome. I'm not going to lie about that. But they're on the right track. It's nice to see Mendoza push Klay Holmes. That was something that I didn't think he would be willing to do. But I think you have to do it. At some point, Mendoza has to go and trust these guys. Even if you don't believe in it, you got to throw them out there because, again, you got to know at some point. You got to know because you can't get into a sticky situation at the end of the year where those games might matter for division or to make the playoffs in general for a wild card. You can't play games in game 160 and you need those wins and say, well, now I'm going to try Klay Holmes going into the 6th inning. It's a dangerous game to play. So doing it now, you should have done it sooner, but whatever. It is what it is. You can't change history. Do it and keep on doing it. And that's a good sign. Now, again, this is the longest outing for Klay Holmes since June 7th. That is great to see, but he will be pitching next time out on regular days rest. That's going to be the biggest test. Same thing goes for Peterson tomorrow. Same thing goes for Manaea on Tuesday. Senga on Monday. McLean on Wednesday. All these guys are going to be pitching on normal days rest. This is going to be a very important 5 days. Yes, you want to win, and by any means necessary, you win. Again, if you win a game, and it doesn't matter how it happened, right? Too many people worry about how you win than did you win. And we'll see, because I really do have to see if they can do it. Because if they come out of these next 5 days and win or lose, right? The winning, obviously, the record is going to matter, right? The wins and the losses are going to matter within these 5 days. But even if the Mets go, let's say the Mets go crazy and they win they win all 5 games starting tomorrow, and they're on a 7-game winning streak. But your starters didn't do very well on normal days rest, but you still found the way to win, which is still a good sign. That means they battled through adversity and won as a team. But the conversation will be, hey, the Mets are winning, but this rotation still scares the hell out of me. Again, a lot to do here. A lot to still do here with 33 games to go. 6 games out of the division. Now 2.5 up on the Reds. I think the Reds are about to lose. I haven't checked it, but they were losing 8-0 last time I checked. So they're probably going to lose. So we're going to have a comfortable but still a little shaky lead for the third wild card. We're 3.5 games behind either San Diego or LA for the second wild card. And if Chicago wins, it'll be 5.5. But right now it's at 5. If they lose, it'll be 4.5. So again, the division and each wild card spot are up for grabs. Don't let anybody think and tell you that this division is still not up for grabs. The Phillies have not played good enough to make me say that this division is over. Now, they can end this conversation if they take 2 out of 3 against the Mets at home, because then it's a 7-game lead. You're going to take off 4 games off the schedule. In 29 games, have we seen crazier things? Absolutely. But even with 4 more games left against Philly, you have to go on a major run over a week or two just to make it, that series against Philly actually matter. And they also have to play a little bit worse. So this is an opportunity here where the Mets have a stretch of games and are in a good spot where the stars are aligned. That is going to be the new quote there. The stars are aligned for the New York Mets right now. They got everything in their own hands. They control their destiny to make the playoffs. They're in a wild card spot. They're in the playoffs. Maintain it and cause a little hectic little craziness in this division and make it interesting. Starting pitching has looked better. The lineup has looked damn good. Guys that haven't done well all year are starting to pick it up, like Vientos. That is a great sign. Even Tyrone Taylor getting some hits. And I said, Tyrone Taylor better be in the lineup every day, because when he starts hitting, he gets clutch hits. He's did it last year, and he looked like he's doing it again. So when you get those hits at bat, keep playing him. You don't want to sit him. You're finally getting something positive other than defense from Tyrone Taylor. I don't care if Mullins is sitting. Doesn't matter to me. I don't care if you traded for him. Right now, Tyrone Taylor is the better bat. Leave him out there. He provides better defense. And look at that diving catch he made in center field. Outstanding. So, let's go. Let's get it done, guys. 33 games to go. We go for the sweep tomorrow with David Peterson on the mound. The Mets have scored 21 runs? Yeah, right? Yeah. Right? Yeah. 21 runs. 21 runs in 2 games in this series. And they got one of their better pitchers on the mound, their best pitcher on the mound, named David Peterson, going tomorrow for the sweep. Let's get it done. After the debacle in Washington, if you sweep the Braves, you ended up on a 4-2 road trip where I think the Mets should have been. I said 4-2 is what was, I'm not going to say a minimum, but that was necessary. To come back home to face on a 7-game homestand against the Phillies and the Marlins, This is the homestand where you need to do damage. But again, a lot of work to do tomorrow. Got to win tomorrow. Because if you lose tomorrow, it's a 3-3 road trip, and it's like, damn, we missed an opportunity here, and now we really got to do some damage at home. Can they do it? Absolutely. But they got to, you win tomorrow, you're on a 3-game winning streak coming back home. And maybe the Phillies lose tomorrow. The Nationals have been playing them tough. The Phillies haven't been playing well against the Nationals, just like the Mets haven't. So maybe we can come out of this tomorrow, sweeping the Braves, going back home to face the Phillies, 5 games out of the division. And now we're talking about a big-ass series against the Phillies. With that said, guys, thank you for tuning into the Mets postgame show right here on the channel and on X. I'll see you tomorrow for a midday. It's a 1 o'clock game tomorrow, 1:30 game tomorrow. So it's going to be an early pregame around 12-ish o'clock. And, of course, we're going to do a postgame as well, guys. So make sure you tune in to the pregame show and the postgame show tomorrow. Have a good night, guys. Mets win 9-2. Take the series against Atlanta, and now they go for the sweep tomorrow with David Peterson on the mound. Have a good night, guys. Let's go Mets, and I'll see you tomorrow on the pregame show. Let's go Mets.
Meet the Mets, meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets.